do yourself a favor before you watch this movie. Go ahead and watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes so you could get a little refresher. It's been a while since you watched this one. Hello again, everyone. My name is Chet. This here is ChetChat, and I saw War for the Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Apes 3 Reboot.com. So here we go, the final movie in this trilogy, War of the Planet of the Apes. I assume it's the final movie because of what happens. But yeah, is it good? Did I like it? What am I gonna do with this movie? And ultimately, it's just, alright, it's alright. So War of the Planet of the Apes takes place a while after Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where you have, the apes, they're doing their thing, and then there's this other human sector, and they're actually having a little problem in the human world now. People trying to get together. But ultimately, there's this human faction of soldiers who feel like they need to wipe out everything that is ape related to, save mankind. You feel like it's a noble cause and they're ultimately the good guys. You feel like they should be the ones that humans are cheering for, but ultimately this movie puts a spin on them so much that you want the apes to win, even though it's the demise of human society from that point. And then they introduced this new thing, which is interesting enough, where the virus actually mutated to a point where it's not killing humans anymore. It's actually making them more primitive instead of just flat out killing them off. So the humans are surviving through the virus, but now they're losing the ability to speak and the ability to think in a more human way. So they're just mute in a sense. The virus has changed, and so that's kind of the cool part, where they're actually filling in these blanks of your prior knowledge of Planet of the Apes. Because in the original Planet of the Apes, the old Planet of the Apes, the humans were actually alive in that society, and they were acting like cavemen in a sense. So you're wondering, how did they get from being like you just killed off from the virus to actually existing in a world where apes reign supreme? And they actually just show that to you in this movie. It kind of feels shoehorned in because they didn't even give you like a hint of it happening in the last movie. So it kind of just shoehorns into this one just to be like, oh, we filled in that blank for you. Check that box off on your Planet of the Apes knowledge if you cared about Planet of the Apes or watched it. Honestly, I didn't really care about Planet of the Apes. I kind of read up on it and I saw CinemaSin on Planet of the Apes, the original. So that's where I kind of got my knowledge. I'm not a big fan of Planet of the Apes, honestly. So other than that cool aspect, I feel like the movie is by the numbers. You just, see Caesar, he's fighting the humans, and the humans are fighting Caesar, and then some humans capture some monkeys, and then you get introduced to the comic relief of this character, and he's really, really funny, and he kind of saves the movie from being this just boring, bland movie. And my audience, at least when I was watching it, they were eating out. They were laughing so hard at this character. I'm like, okay, but you guys are getting kind of cloaked and daggered here. He's luring you into making you think that this mediocre movie is good because you laughed a lot. And that's what I felt like he ultimately did. This movie would have been kind of boring without him, but it doesn't save the movie. It just shows that laughing helps make a movie better. It's kind of like just putting bacon on anything, because bacon is the cheat code for food. Hey, I got avocado, put some bacon on that. I got this celery, put some bacon on it. It's gonna taste good. It's cheap. So all in all, I feel like this movie doesn't really do much for me. I feel like Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a much better movie than all of these movies so far. And then Dawn is kind of weird, but I like the fact that they dealt a lot in the monkey society with Koba and Caesar, and that was so interesting. Protagonist versus antagonist society. But then you have these new characters. Woody Harrelson is such a boring character and he does nothing for the role. Woody Harrelson is not really a good actor in my opinion. I really, really wish that they didn't kill off Gary Oldman's character in the last movie, spoiler alert, and they made him actually become Woody Harrelson's character, and Gary Oldman would have killed this role. He would have been so good. But no, they chose to kill him off and then put Woody Harrelson, and he's so boring and bland. And then they do a little plot twist with him in the ending, and that you see come in as soon as they show something happen and he does something, and I'm like, why are you doing this? This is stupid. And then something else happens and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was kind of cool, I guess. And then the movie ultimately ends on a obvious note because, again, if you know the lore of what happened, you'll know what happens in the ending. And that's kind of how I felt watching this movie. I was like, he has to do this. So, it's unfortunate that this movie had to fill in the blanks and give you the expectations of what is leading into the traditional Planet of the Apes movies. So that's that's the cards they were dealt. Everybody did their best. I felt like they did the best they could, but ultimately it was just a man movie that just was there to just wrap things up and put everything to rest. So that's it for this review. You could go ahead and give me a like if you liked the video, give me a dislike if you didn't like it, and if you really liked the video, you could go ahead and subscribe and we'll feed you some more reviews and maybe a little more things in the pipeline. I hope so. I want to do it, and I want to, just do it, man. And go ahead and leave me a comment if you actually watched the whole Planet of the Apes trilogy, and if you even was a OG fan of Planet of the Apes. Did this trilogy fill in that gap of prequelitis that you wanted, or did you even want it? Did you want to know what happened before? Kind of like Star Wars episode 1 through 3, I guess. Was it better than Star Wars episode 1 through 3? You should always go ahead and watch movies regardless of what I say, so you can learn about what you like, learn about what makes a good movie good, what makes a bad movie bad for your taste at least, because ultimately we're all people and we gotta watch different movies, and that's why we got different types of pornography.